A warm welcome to all the students. In this lecture, we are going to focus on some terminologies. Rather, I will call them as the basic building blocks of ALC. ALC, all the concepts, they revolve around these four terminologies. You have alphabet, strings, languages, and closure. Let's see what is an alphabet. Alphabets are nothing but these are the finite set of symbols represented with sigma. Alphabet is also called as alphabet set. Okay. For example, if you consider something like a machine language or let's say a binary. So in the machine language, there are only two symbols, that is 0 and 1. So if you ask me to write the alphabet set for the machine language, okay, I will write the set as sigma equal to 0, 1. Okay, so this is the alphabet or alphabet set for binary. Okay, so you can call this as binary alphabet. Now, consider another alphabet set, sigma equal to A, B, C. Now, in this alphabet set, the symbols are all characters. Okay, so this kind of alphabet set is called as character alphabet. Character alphabet. Now, if you consider your natural language like English, okay, it constitutes of 26 characters of lowercase and the uppercase respectively. Okay, so these single alphabets, okay, in English are basically nothing but the symbols. Okay, so there's a bit confusion when you consider alphabet and symbol. In ALC, symbols are joined together or symbols are concatenated together to form a word. Word is also called as a string. In English we say different alphabets are joined together to form word. Okay, but in ALC, okay, alphabet is nothing but set of symbols. It is not a single symbol. In ALC, alphabet means set of symbols. Okay, and each of this symbol it correspond to the actual alphabets in English, right? So sigma here is called as alphabet. It may be also called as alphabet set. Okay, so let us proceed to the next definition. Strings. Strings are nothing but these are the finite sequence of symbols which are chosen from any alphabet set. Okay, now if you consider from my previous example, if you consider, let's say alphabet set that is given to me is 0, 1. It means the strings that will be formed from only these two symbols, 0 and 1, and no other symbols. So basically I told you this is a binary alphabet or binary alphabet set. Though all the strings that will be produced from this alphabet set will be your binary strings. Now the next question is how the strings are produced. Basically, in ALC, the strings are formed from the alphabet, okay, using something called as concatenation or repetition. Okay, so for example, one possible string, valid string for this alphabet, for this particular alphabet set could be 0, 1. Now the string 0, 1, how do I get this string? To get the string, the alphabet set must have been visited, alphabet set must have been repeated. Okay, I will use these words. I can say accessed, which is an informal word. A better technical word is the alphabet set is repeated. Okay, or still better word is concatenated. Okay, so these are actually analogous words, but we don't use this accessed word. More formal words, more technical words are repeated or concatenated. So to get this string 0 1, alphabet set is visited once. Now when first time it is visited, you have two options. That means either you can choose 0 or 1. Okay, so 0 is chosen in the first access. Then alphabet set is again accessed. Now in this second access, okay, out of 0 or 1, I choose 1. Okay, now these two symbols that I chose from two different accesses, when they are concatenated with each other, then it forms a string. Okay, notice that dot here is a concatenation operator. Okay, dot here is concatenation operator. Now let us go further with our example. Okay, so let's see what happens when sigma is repeated 0 number of times. Notice that I have purposely written a superscript notation on top of sigma. Whenever there is a superscript notation written above any sub expression, okay, whenever any sub expression has some number n that is written as a superscript notation, it simply means the sub expression is repeated maximum n times. Okay, so whenever I write any sub expression and on top of that sub expression as a superscript I write any number n, it simply means that that sub expression can be accessed or can be repeated or can be concatenated maximum n times. Okay, now let's see what happens when the alphabet set is repeated 0 number of times. Many a times in mathematics we have this particular concept. In maths we say that any number raised to 0 is 1. This is in maths. Okay, but in LC, whenever I write sub expression raised to 0, it is not same as this. This means that sub expression is 0 time accessed, or that means a sub expression is not at all accessed. So if a sub expression is not accessed, will it give you symbol 0 or 1? No. So in that case, remember, whenever any sub expression is repeated 0 number of times, you are going to get something called as a null string. This null string is one of the valid symbols. It's a null string. Okay, so when alphabet set is repeated 0 number of time in this case, what you are going to get here is the null string. Okay, now whenever I say sigma raised to 0, it means alphabet set is repeated maximum 0 number of times, right? Now different textbooks use different notations for null string. Different textbooks use different notations for null string. Caret can be used for null string. Some books they use lambda as a null string, and some books they use epsilon as null strings. All these three, they mean null string. They can be used. Okay. Now let's see what happens when sigma is accessed 1 number of times. Okay. Now when I write sigma raised to 1, it simply means that sub expression sigma can be repeated maximum 1 time. So that means when sigma is repeated 0 number of times, you are going to get null string is one of the valid strings. And then when sigma is repeated 1 number of times, okay, when this sigma is repeated 1 number of times, you have an option of choosing only 0, comma means or only 1. So either you will get string 0 only, or you will get string 1, your choice. So when alphabet set is concatenated, repeated or accessed 1 number of times, that means maximum 1 times. Okay, so if it is 0 times, null will be there. If it is 1, okay, then either 0 or 1 any one of the string will get. So this is the set of strings that you get. Now let's see what happens when alphabet set is repeated 2 number of times. Okay, so when alphabet set is repeated 2 number of times, okay, what it means is maximum 2 number of times. Okay, whenever you write a superscript on top of it, it means maximum 2 number of times. Remember this. So this is equivalent of saying sigma raised to 0 and sigma raised to 1 and sigma raised to 2. Okay, so when this is accessed maximum 2 number of times, then in the first when sigma is repeated 0 number of times, you will get null. Sigma is repeated 1 time, you are going to get null is already written, you will get 0 and 1. Now when sigma is repeated exactly 2 number of times, now see what happens. So when first time sigma is accessed, you have an option of choosing 0 or 1. Assume that I choose 0 for the first time, right? Now again sigma is repeated for the second number of time. Here also you have an option of choosing 0 or 1. So again suppose I choose 0. So when sigma is repeated exactly 2 number of times, please note, when sigma is repeated exactly 2 number of times, you are going to get a string of length 2. 0 0 is just one option. Then suppose another string that you can get. Then suppose in the first access I choose 0, but in my second access instead of 0 now I choose 1. So the string that is obtained is 0 1. Similarly, in the first access instead of choosing 0 I may choose 1. Then the string that you get is 1, and then as per the second choice you will get 1 0 or 1 1. Okay, so this is basically the set of all the possible strings that you get when sigma is repeated maximum 2 times. Note that this is a string that you get when sigma is repeated 0 number of times. These 2 strings you get when sigma is repeated 1 time, and when sigma is repeated exactly 2 times you get these 4 strings. And that's the meaning of anything raised to 2, or in general any sub expression raised to some superscript notation. Fine. So after the strings, next we will go for length of the string. Length of the string. Now the number of alphabets in a given string is called as length of the string. Okay, so suppose the string, one of the possible strings suppose is A, B, then the length of the string S, which is the notation for the length is mod of S, will be 1 2 3. What's the length of the string? It will be 3. That's how we determine the length of the string. Okay, next we'll see what are substrings. Okay, now let's deal with this in step by step manner. Okay, let's see the definition. What is a substring? A string X is a substring of another string Y. Okay, what it means is a string X is a substring or subset of another string Y. Okay, X belongs to Y. If there are strings W and Z, suppose there are 2 more strings W and Z, and either both of them are null, or one among them is null. Either both of them are null or any one among them is null. So ultimately such that the expression that we are talking about is this. So with respect to this expression, we are going to now see what is the meaning of substring. Okay, so a string X is a substring of another string Y. We say that X is substring of Y if there are strings W and Z, either or both of them may be null, such that Y can be written as WXZ. Okay, such that Y can be written as WXZ. Then if W is null, then on the right hand side you will just have XZ, correct? If W is null, on the right hand side you will just have XZ. So if W is null, then X, if W is null, what we'll get? Y equal to XZ. So when W is null, we say that X is a prefix or initial string of Y. So when W is null, then X is called as prefix or initial string of Y. So X is prefix of Y. Okay. Then if Z is null, now W is not null, but let's say Z is null. So Z won't be there. In that case, Sx is said to be suffix or the final string of Y. So if Z is null, then X will be called as suffix or the final string of Y. This is a very important concept. You need to remember this concept. Okay. Next, part C, and that is languages. We have already seen what are alphabets. We now know how to frame strings from alphabets using concatenation operator. Alphabet set can be repeated some number of times, okay, and resultant strings are obtained. Now we will go one step further and we will see what are languages. Language is a set of strings defined over an alphabet. First thing is very important. Language is nothing but it is set of strings. Okay? It's a set of different strings. Okay, these strings are defined over alphabet set sigma. Okay, so the strings will be formed from the alphabet set sigma, and it is subset of the strings that can be framed from those alphabets. For an example, suppose the alphabet set that I have taken sigma is 0, 1. If the alphabet set that I have taken sigma is 0, 1, okay, then when sigma is repeated some number of times, what will happen? Okay, before we proceed with this particular thing, I would like to focus on something called as superscript notations. Okay, now in ALC, any sub expression can have either numerical superscript notations, or it can have one of these notations. This star, it's called as clean star. Okay, star is called as clean star. Then there is plus and there is a question mark. Now whenever any sub expression has star on top of it, it simply means that the sub expression here can be repeated either 0 times or more times. Okay, whenever a sub expression has a star, that's called as clean star, as a superscript over it, it means the sub expression can be repeated 0 times or more times. Similarly, whenever a sub expression has a plus over it, it means the sub expression can be repeated exactly 1 or more time. And whenever a sub expression has a question mark on top of it, it means it can be repeated exactly 0 times or exactly 1 times. Okay, so suppose the alphabet set given to us is 0, 1, then the clean star over the alphabet set sigma, okay, will be what? Okay, this means sigma raised to star, it means that alphabet set sigma can be repeated either 0 times or n number of times. Now what happens when sigma is repeated 0 number of times? So we have already seen when any sub expression is repeated 0 number of times, it means the sub expression is not at all accessed. So the string that you obtain here will be a null string. Now what happens then? Star means 0 or more times. Now let's see what happens when sub expression, what happens when sigma is repeated 1 number of times. So when this sigma is accessed 1 number of times, you have an option of choosing either 0 or 1 at string. So two strings which are obtained here, either only 0 will be obtained or only 1 will be obtained. Then what happens when sigma is accessed 2 number of times? So in the first access you may choose 0, and in the second access you may choose 0. In the first excess you may choose 0, second excess you may choose 1, first excess you may choose 1, second excess you may choose 0, and finally first excess you may choose 1, second excess also you may choose 1, and that is how sigma raised to 2 is written. And so on, sigma raised to 3, sigma raised to 4, up till sigma raised to infinity can be written. So this gives you infinite set. So this is called as closure of a sub-expression. In this case, the sub-expression is nothing but it is the alphabet set. So closure of the alphabet set which is given to us is this. Okay. Now we will again come back and we'll see what is language. Okay. So how language can be written. So language is basically set of strings. So one thing is clear, language will have these strings. Strings defined over alphabet sigma. That means the strings here will constitute of the symbols from the alphabet set that is given to us 0, 1 and nothing else. Then very important, and the language is a subset. Language is a subset of strings that can be framed from those alphabets. Now these are all the possible strings that can be framed from the given alphabet set. These are, when I say sigma raised to star, it's called as closure over an alphabet set. Whenever I say sigma raised to star, what it gives is, it gives me all the possible strings that can be framed from the alphabet set. Then what is language L? Language L is a subset of these bigger set of strings. So for example, L could be then written as null, say any other string, say 0, 0, 0, 1, then 1, 1, 1, and let's say only these many. Okay, so the language is nothing but it's a finite set. It is a subset of an infinite set, which is nothing but closure over the alphabet set. Or it is a subset of a set which is nothing but strings that can be framed from the alphabet set. All the possible strings that can be framed from the alphabet set. So this is basically a language. Okay. Now we'll move to our next final concept, that is called as closure. What is a closure? Okay. So closure is nothing but, this is the operator. Closure is basically the operator, okay, that operates on the alphabet set. So operator that operates on the alphabet set or on the language L. So in general, I will just call it a sub-expression. So closure is nothing but it's an operator that operates either on the alphabet set or language. So in general, it is sub-expression. Okay, it operates here. It's a superscript operator. Resulting in, so what it results in? Resulting in set of strings of all possible length from 0 to infinity. Okay. The example of closure we have just seen in our previous example. Okay. Now clean star operator. This is what we had already seen. Clean star operator means any sub-expression raised to star. It means sub-expression can be repeated either 0 times or more times. Fine. In simple words, what is closure? In simple words, closure of a language is a set of strings. Is it basically a set of strings which are obtained by concatenating or repeating the strings in the alphabet set 0 or more times. Okay. Other subscript operators which are there in ALC is superscript operators which are there in ALC. Okay, plus is also used. Plus means when any sub expression has a plus over it, it means it can be repeated exactly one time or more than one times. And whenever any sub expression has a question mark on as a superscript over it, it means the sub expression is repeated exactly 0 times or exactly 1 times. Okay. So this is the end of the lecture. Thank you very much. In the next lecture, we are going to start with the next concept, that is automatas. Thank you.